Good evening and welcome to our Good Friday service. A big thank you to the people that were working hard in the kitchen this afternoon to provide a delicious meal. Thank you to those of you. It's a very special service tonight. We'll be going through the 12 stations of the cross. Stops along the way as Jesus moves towards his death. You're in for a very powerful night tonight. I don't want to jump too quickly to Easter Sunday because we have to get through Good Friday first. But a reminder that we do have a service here at 10:30. It'll be a service of celebration, there'll be a baptism, and an egg hunt for the kids after the service. Before we get started, I want to say that for Station 10, tonight there's a video which understandably shows Jesus on the cross. It's gory. This is a story of violence. And so if that's something that would bother you or disturb you, just know that that's coming at station number 10. Welcome to the Stations of the Cross.
Then Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee along with him, and he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." Going a little farther, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. "Couldn't you men keep watch with me for 1 hour?" he asked Peter. "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak."
He says, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to the point of death." He prays and prays and prays, pouring his heart out to God, even the sad, angry, self-preserving thoughts. "If you are willing, remove this cup from me." His sweat soaks the earth. His tears pour out from his eyes. Yet in all of that despair, I watch as he says, "Yet not my will, but yours be done." He accepts the burden I can't bear. The perfect Son is scared. And yet, with the strength of angels surrounding him, he says, "Rise, the hour has come. I have been delivered into the hands of sinners." He was perfect and yet still afraid.
This picture is when Jesus falls on the ground to pray to his Father. He is scared and distressed, saying, "Father, please let this cup pass from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." He trusted God's plan for his life even though he was afraid. He was willing to do what God told him, no matter what it cost, because he trusted what was best. And this painting is of the disciples waiting for Jesus to pass the time they sleep, not knowing what to do. When Jesus comes back, he asks them, "Why didn't you pray? Why didn't you welcome the Spirit to make you stronger? The Spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak."
Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. Now the betrayed had arranged a signal with them. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." Going at once to Jesus, Jesus said, Judas said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. The man seized Jesus and arrested him.
You say you're his friend, yet you'd have betrayed him too. You don't understand it was what he had to do. No other choice, hands tied. Just simple math, not picking a side. Yet, didn't the teacher say, if anyone tries to save his life, he'll lose it? And still, this man Jesus loved fell for the illusion of something more, the same old ruse that safe is better than what his soul yearned for. In the beginning was a garden and a whisper of greed. And to be an apple, the fruit doesn't have to come from a tree, just what you need to even the odds. The snake said coins weigh more than the love of God, and the cost of following this preacher is steep. It takes everything you've got. If anyone wants to save his life, it's his life he must first lose. Is death what you would choose? In the beginning was a garden, and in the garden was grief, the beginning of the fall, or maybe end. Beneath the olive trees where once friends laughed, Son of Man, come to weep. In the beginning was a garden where the wound of loss cut deep. He loved you, Judas. Did you ever believe? In the beginning was a garden where God loved us even as he knew we would betray him, and Judas would too. Kiss your Lord, give him away. It's not the whole fruit, only a bit. But what good is it to gain the whole world if it's our soul we forfeit? Turn your back as they take God to the tomb. The betrayer was Judas, but it could have been you. In the beginning was a garden, and in the garden was the Word. Haven't you seen him? Have you not heard? He is the one who knows us, God of the flowers and the birds, of the weak, the meek, the persecuted, and the murdered. His first bitter drink, fruit of wounded heart. And this splinter in our eye can still tear us apart. Lord, let me hear. Open my heart to see. In the beginning was a garden, and the betrayer was me.
chief priests accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of." But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them.
Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head. They clothed him in a purple robe and went up to him again and again, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they slapped him in the face.
Jesus was scourged and whipped. We have a little exercise now that we want you to participate in. Really, each whip was a sin that we put on Jesus. And so together, I'll read these sins and ask you to repeat them. Our lust. Our greed. Our pride. Our apathy. Our hatred. Our prejudice. Our idolatry. Our neglect, our deceit, our cowardice.
As soon as the chief priests and their officials saw him, they shouted, "Crucify, crucify!" But Pilate answered, "You took him and crucified him. As for me, I found no basis for a charge against him." But they shouted, take him away, crucify him." "Shall I crucify your king?" Pilate asked. "We have no king but Caesar," the chief of priests answered. Finally, Pilate handed him over to them to be crucified. So the soldiers took charge of Jesus. Carrying his own cross, he went out to the place of the skull, which in Aramaic is called Golgotha.
certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross.
About a week ago, I was just turning into my driveway, coming home from daycare with the kids, and I saw a man I did not recognize walking down the street. He had two very large, clearly very heavy suitcases, and he was dragging them along the road, clearly looking for the right address. I brought the kids in, and then I watched them out the window. I saw him go all the way down to the end of the street, looking left and right. He came all the way back, looking left and right. Clearly, he could not find what he was looking for. So I went out and asked him, "Can I help you? What are you looking for?" He said, "I'm looking for 7 Crystal Drive." Okay. 11, 17, clearly number 7 does not exist. The house he needed to move into, because that's what he was doing, moving into an apartment that very moment, did not exist. So I left him out there in the street, encouraging him to try number 1. Maybe there was a mistake, knock on the door. Because number 11 and 17, those are not the right houses. So I went back in and I told Allison, "This is a guy out there, he's looking for number 7. Number 7 doesn't exist." She's like, "Well, there is a 7 Crystal Drive in Dartmouth. We're in Bedford." I went back out and I told him, "I'm sorry, sir. You're in the wrong town." His phone was dead that whole time. He'd just gotten off the city bus. He'd moved from Truro that day. He's in the wrong town. "Okay, you got to go up to the bus stop over here. You got to catch this bus. Then you got to get on this bus. And then you got to get off at this stop. And you got to walk about 20 minutes with your suitcases. And hopefully you find the right building. Good luck." So I left them out there again. Not quite sure that I'd done the right thing. I'm out of the house again in 2 minutes, driving to the bus stop. He's at the wrong bus stop. I say, "I'll drive you there. It's only 15 minutes away." So the two of us haul his heavy suitcases into my trunk. This guy was clearly new to Canada. This guy didn't know that Dartmouth and Bedford even existed, let alone how to manage the bus system without a phone. This to me speaks of the immigrant experience. Being new to a country, new to a culture, new to a language, and not sure how to navigate. Working here, I've been so blessed by the people of this community and how they come from all different parts of the world. And I've learned secondhand about the immigrant experience. It's an experience that I will likely never personally share with them. Getting your PR, finding a place to live, finding a job, learning the language. But of the people that I've met, they are all such beautiful and faithful examples of following Jesus, despite the hardships that they face. And that's what this story is about too. Simon from Cyrene, that's North Africa. He's Jewish, he's probably in town for the Passover celebration, and he just happens to be passing by when he's enlisted, conscripted, forced to carry Jesus' cross all the way up to Golgotha. Little did he know that he was becoming part of history in that moment. Jesus says, "Whoever wants to come after me, whoever wants to follow me, must deny themselves, pick up their cross, and follow me. And we're told that's what it means to be a disciple. And the irony is that Simon picks up Jesus' cross and doesn't just follow him, walks with Jesus as they together carry the cross. That to me tells me something more about discipleship. It shows me that we are called to carry each other's burdens. In our culture, we hate being a burden. I think we need to embrace being a burden a little bit more. To burden other people, like in this story, is actually to be like Christ. When we share our burdens and when we carry each other's burdens, we're walking with Christ on the path to death, yes, but also to life. In our sufferings, especially when we bring other people into it, it's not just that Jesus feels that and he loves us in it, but actually we're sharing in the suffering of Christ. And I had this picture today of Simon and Jesus carrying this cross, being on opposite sides of it. And then the two arms of the cross getting longer and longer and longer as other people from the crowd, from all around the world, joined in carrying that cross up the hill. It's in this moment, actually, the outsiders are brought in. Nations are brought together. It's only in Mark's gospel that we get one extra detail about Simon. Simon the Cyrene, father of Alexander and Rufus. The other gospels don't say that. And what's interesting is that Mark is the first gospel written. What I imagine the case to be is that whoever Mark was writing to, those people, well, they knew Alexander and Rufus, maybe Simon too. They're part of their family. They're in their community. That's why Mark mentions it. They know them. So again, here's a story of a man from far away who is brought into the very heart of the church because of this action. To me, that speaks of the power of carrying not only your cross, but carrying Jesus's as well.
A large number of people followed him, including women who mourned and wailed for him. Jesus turned and said to them, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children. For the time will come when you will say, 'Blessed are the childless women, the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if people do these things when the tree is green, what will happen when it is dry?"
When they came to the place called the Sukkot, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right, the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they divide up his clothes by casting lots.
ప్రేమించి ప్రాణమిచ్చెను నన్ను ప్రేమించి ప్రాణమిచ్చెను ప్రేమాపూర్ణుడు ప్రాణనాథుడు ప్రేమాపూర్ణుడు ప్రాణనాథుడు నన్ను ప్రేమించి ప్రాణమిచ్చెను నన్ను ప్రేమించి ప్రాణమిచ్చెను నే పాడేదన్ కొనియాడేదన్ నే పాడేదన్ కొనియాడేదన్ నా ప్రియ యేసు క్రీస్తుని ప్రకటింతును 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 లోయల కంటే లోతైనది నా యేసు ప్రేమ
one of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other criminal rebuked him. "Don't you fear God?" he said. "Since you are under the same sentence, we are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
The scene at Golgotha, or the place known as the skull, was one of total helplessness. Jesus, the Son of God, was hanging on a cross, even though he was innocent. Next to him were two thieves, and both were going to die soon in this very painful and excruciating way. They were both in the same situation, no control or power over what was going on. But the way these two thieves reacted was very different. I wonder why, wherever I've seen this topic discussed, the first thief is never called the bad thief or the selfish thief. Maybe it's because we see ourselves in him. The first thief was focused on his own pain, and maybe he felt it wasn't fair. He got angry, took it out on Jesus, was desperate to seek some form of control. He told Jesus to prove his power and to save them all. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." He only cared about getting out of his physical suffering. He wanted a quick fix, a big rescue, and didn't think of any deeper meaning of his crimes or anything like that. We often pretend that we would never act like this, but this is a very common way that we act when we feel like we're losing control, whether it's because of money problems like inflation, losing our jobs, or even unexpected accidents or anything similar. Now more than ever is a time that's very great at making us feel like one thing just happens and it just happens, there's no choice we have in it. We might first complain, we might blame others. It's because of him that I'm here. If this thing wasn't there, I wouldn't be in this situation. Like the first thief, we might only focus on changing what's happening around us and not thinking about changing ourselves inside. The second thief, though, acted very differently. He knew who he was and he humbled himself. He told the other thief that they should fear God since they were both going to die. He admitted that they both deserved their punishments. "Don't you fear God," he said, "since you're under the same sentence? We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong." He knew he was guilty, and he showed that he understood that there was a reason for his punishment and his suffering, which the first thief just couldn't see. The second thief looked inside himself. He didn't ask to be saved right away, no. He asked for peace with God and to be remembered. "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." This request shows that he knew his biggest need wasn't to change his situation, but to be closer to God, to be with God. Jesus answered his request and more. "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." He's always ready to be merciful, even at the very end of life, to those who turn to him and believe. Being saved is a gift from God, given freely to those who believe, no matter what background or what your past occurrences are, what you've done in your life, or how helpless or hopeless you are now, as long as you believe. We also find ourselves in times where we feel like we're on a cross, facing situations that we don't have any control over. This pure feeling of helplessness, whether they come from big world events or personal problems, give us the same basic choice that the two thieves had. We can choose to be angry, to complain, to blame others, ask God, "Hey, can you fix this situation for me? Can you make this better? Can you remove this?" Or we can choose to be understanding, humble, understand that God put us here for a reason, and that reason is to be closer to God. The good thief, in his last moments, he decided that instead of complaining, he would simply ask to be remembered. And he wanted peace with God, true release. He accepted the result of his action. He was still going to die in a very, very excruciating and gory way. But he put his hope not in some miracle escape, but in Jesus' kindness. Remember, we do not need God to fix our situation. We need God to fix us. We need God to show his kindness and his mercy, a mercy that he showed us at his lowest moment, and a mercy we can hold on to in ours. Thank you.
Of Jesus stood his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother there, and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby, he said to her, "Woman, here is your son," and to the disciple, "Here is your mother." From that time on, this disciple took her into his home.
It's now about noon, and the darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was turned in two. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hand I commit my spirit." When he said that, he breathed his last.
The torn curtain. Jesus hung on that cross, bearing my sin and shame, a suffering I'll never know. He freed the shunned and the lost. There he died, pinned on that frame. Everything to him I will forever own. He was beaten so we could be whole. Soldiers cast lots for his cloak, divided his clothes. He was whipped, in order that we could be healed, even though he would never hurt a soul. And no words had he spoken, silent through it all. 'Twas a gift, an outpouring of God's love, free for you and me. Wearing a twisted crown of thorns, under a sign saying, King of the Jews, hung there to mock, yet displayed the truth, Jesus is Lord of all. As in the scriptures written down before he was born, sour wine they gave him to drink that noon. What he had done on the cross makes us new, redeems and restores by his blood. The temple curtain tore in two, top to bottom, as Jesus shouted, Into your hands I commit my spirit. And with those words, he breathed his last. Then the earth roared, unable to be subdued, as rocks split open. We've now a new covenant, my sins forgiven by the high priest. His shed blood assures eternity. This is steadfast. As the earth opened, shook, and ruptured rocks, with true precision, the temple veil purposefully tore in half, the tearing of Jesus' flesh, ensuring reconciliation through his blood. The centurion at the foot of the cross, who had driven these unforgettable nails, mercilessly torturing, stood terrified, witnessing these events, exclaiming, Surely he was the Son of God. Jesus suffered physical agony on the cross. What's more, he bore disgrace, pure humiliation and shame. But the unmitigated worst was the chasm created by the fathomless weight of the world's sins upon him. He was slaughtered as an acceptable sacrifice to God. For our sakes, endured excruciating anguish and pain. He became a curse for us, a ransom he paid to save us, to be born again, one with him. We see God's wrath, mercy, and love intersect at the cross. Jesus' death makes crimson stains white as snow. Released from the past curse of the law, our debt settled at a massive cost, he bled, breaking sin's chains, triumphant o'er the foe. Do we appreciate the perfect, true sacrifice that the Savior Christ willingly was for us? The undenied freedom we're given if we surrender? We are liberated. His death brings new life. Our past mistakes crucified with him on the cross. Reconciled, redeemed, forgiven. His gift of peace, never ending. You see, the crucifixion of Christ Jesus fulfilled God's foreseen glorious plan of redemption. In the garden, Yahweh was working for our salvation before we were born. Jesus' gruesome death was the price of victory on Golgotha's hill, hung between thieves, Lord and man of perfection. Our sins pardoned, a pathway to eternity, and left open the torn curtain, never to be restored. Amen.
As evening approached, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph, who had himself become a disciple of Jesus. Going to Pilate, he asked for Jesus' body, and Pilate ordered that it be given to him. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in a clean linen cloth, and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut out of the rock. He rolled a big stone in front of the entrance to the tomb and went away.
the tomb. Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?